Hello, and welcome back to the SheBlooms podcast, where ambitious women gather for uplifting, honest conversations and powerful insights as you seek to live your most joyful life. Today, we're in a conversation about finding your moment of power, especially in midlife. And for all my younger girlies out there, stay with me because this will help you see what's possible and notice it in other ambitious women just like you. There is a moment that many women don't realize is their greatest opportunity. And I love to call it the midlife reinvention. Imagine waking up each morning filled with confidence, curiosity, energy, and a deep sense of gratitude, feeling like nothing holds you back because you've learned from every win and every setback. You've been willing to let your emotions come and allow them to be your teachers. You've conquered how to train your thoughts to look for and cultivate more joy and satisfaction in your life. Your experience fuels a passionate future that feels like a well lived life. Well, that is the gift of midlife clarity. And sometimes it shows up as an internal voice begging you to reflect on the road that you've been on, make a change or a bold move. Or it can be a whisper or internal stirring that pulls you towards a new vision, maybe a new path or a change in perspective. It's different for every woman, but it's definitely a signal. And I want to go back and talk about when I turned 50 because I expected fireworks, a burst of clarity, or an epiphany. And instead, I remember feeling like I was kind of in a deep rut, living the same corporate life every day. And I had mastered the art of my routine, which wasn't awful, but it was not exactly full of purpose and joy and leading me to ultimate fulfillment. And at the time, it felt like such a conundrum. I was high energy, but hollow numbness. I had spikes of drive, but this low key anxiety. And it was happening all at the same time. And I remember thinking, is this a midlife crisis? Like, seriously, am I going through my midlife crisis right now? And let me tell you, that stirring, it is definitely not a crisis. It's a call to live a deeper, happier, smarter, and more fulfilled life. And for me, that signal was, I guess, the starting point for me getting serious about the story that I was feeding my brain. And that's when I really started thinking about mindset and why what we think about translates into the life that we're currently living. And if you want to change that life, you need to change the thoughts that you're telling yourself. And that was the year that I became an independent business owner. I started to create this new version of myself and the life that I wanted outside of my corporate job. And I started thinking, wow, Vera Wang designed her first dress at 40. Julia Child learned to cook at 36. Toni Morrison published her debut novel at 39, and Oprah Winfrey launched the OWN network at 56. So add in your own name and your next chapter to that roster, and your lived wisdom becomes gold. So, why is midlife so good? Well, the science and surveys leave no doubt. Midlife can actually be the happiest decade. In this landmark study of postmenopausal women, there was over 50% that said they felt most fulfilled between the ages of 50 and 65. They reported deeper satisfaction in friendships and family and personal growth. And those are the elements that fuel our joy. And here's why it happens. Number one, we have some freedom to choose now. Our kids are more independent. Our careers have kind of settled into, a bit of mastery. And you gain back hours that you normally would use, and you can invest those into things that light you up. You become better at what you're doing. Another lies in wisdom, and not the abstract kind. I'm talking about hard-won clarity that comes from decades of winning and losing and everything in between. You've gathered life lessons, and these things can now guide you in choices that you make moving forward. And that hard-won clarity helps you move towards not only what is right, but what truly matters to you. And there's insights that you may not know, but the neuroscience says that women's brains retain strong neuroplasticity well into our 60s, which means you have the capacity to learn a new skill or launch a bold project, even though you're in, this midlife era. Think of it as like a new era, this new opportunity, this like midlife glow up, if you will. And if you have the agility to reshape your life and career, you literally have unstoppable momentum. So one of my girlfriends, she was in the healthcare industry with me. She was 52 and she had a high profile job. She had a picture perfect home. She had this curated social life online. And I remember her telling me that she just felt so restless. And she decided to trade in these frantic days and the Zoom calls that were on for early morning walks, pottery classes, and she grabbed a part-time role that matched her values and aligned with more of what she wanted to be doing every day. And I remember I was still working at the time when we met for coffee, and she happily told me, she said, Kat, I had to stop shitting all over myself and living by what other people were telling me I should do before I could move into the life that I wanted. And I so appreciated her story because it's such an inspirational reminder to each of us that we get to choose what we want in life. And I mean that for even the younger girls that are listening to this podcast. Every day, you get to create what you want. And you don't have to wait till midlife to look back on your past learnings and the experiences and the expertise that you've gained. I mean, think about just who you were a year ago, how far you've come and what you've learned, and go back 5 years and think about that. Like, you are such a different person now. And these stories, our stories, these are not anecdotal. I mean, even the data shows that chronic workplace stress drives 46% of women to eye new career paths. And so it's proof that you can reinvent your life at any point in time. And I know this personally. So, if you're listening to this podcast and you're feeling like that pull where you feel that your heart is racing, your stomach is whispering, there's more, or that like this is not all there is for me, like I feel like maybe I want to write a book or I want to start a business or I've been thinking about doing this new skill or this new side hustle. I'm telling you, listen to that inner voice because she's telling you something that you need to hear. And that dream of writing the book, traveling the world, now is the time to bring it to life. And if you're wondering, like, oh, I don't know where to start, I felt that too. And I remember being there going, well, where do I even begin? And one thing that helped me was just sitting down and taking some time to dream that big dream and define what success meant to me. Like, in your own words, what would that look like? Like, write it out. What does your day feel like? What do you wake up? Where do you wake up? How do you wake up? Where do you go? Do you get to, head to your favorite yoga class in the morning or meet a girlfriend for coffee or spend some time writing or reading or learning? I mean, you decide what that success looks like to you. And then write down maybe a couple micro actions that you can take this week to help you explore and cultivate more of bringing that to life. Schedule them like non negotiable appointments with yourself and take the time to really explore. I love using things like, wouldn't it be great if, blank? Wouldn't it be great if, I could wake up when I wanted to? I could be in charge of my schedule. I had the resources, and make that list. When you give your brain something to look for, your brain is performative, right? So it works in this reticular activating system where when you give it a task to do, it starts looking for opportunities to bring that to life. So think of it as this decade of possibility. And I created the SheBlooms website because I had continuously kept reinventing this new era and refining what it was. And so there's on the website, there's this thing called the Midlife Renewal Roadmap. And I like to think of it as a personal co-pilot to help you through these extraordinary years. And you'll find this value exercise that helps you uncover like what your deepest passions are today. It helps you with determining what some micro actions might be to help you build some little habits that progress you towards the things that mean the most to you. And then there's some really great grounding exercises to help you resolve stress and get your nervous system back to where it needs to be. And then lastly, there's a vision planning guide at the very end to kind of help you map out what your next chapter is going to look like. And I used these exact tools, these science-backed tools, to help me when I was at a pivotal point in my life last year. And the women that have used this have told me, that value exercise lit a fire in them. And now one of my girlfriends is, launching her dream nonprofit. There's also these micro actions that will really truly help you break old patterns. And there's women that have used this that never knew that they even had these things that were kind of self-sabotaging themselves. So hopefully I'll leave this in the show notes. Hopefully this will help you reinvent and kind of dial into maybe what's signaling you. I'd love to hear, what is the tug and pull that you're feeling in your days. Okay, well, if this episode sparked any new ideas or reignited a desire in you that maybe you thought was gone, I'd love it if you'd hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you never miss an opportunity to, listen in and join the conversation. And if you know a woman who needs this message, please share it. This will help us, really as a community come together and build our brightest future side by side. So, that's all for today, you guys. Thanks for spending time with me. I hope you guys have learned something new. Just know it's never too late. You're in this midlife momentum, and your best years are not behind. Everything is your moment of power from this moment on. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.